welcome to a demonstration of Palo Alto TRAPS, a next-generation antivirus product acting against zero-day threats and unknown applications to prevent any threats from CryptoLocker, ransomware, or other methods of taking advantage of your network. Now, the primary difference between antivirus and TRAPS is that antivirus is actually a signature-based system. These signatures are provided by the antivirus provider on a periodic basis, and this periodic basis could be once a night, which is then downloaded to your workstations that night, which leaves potentially a 24-hour window in which malware could potentially bypass your antivirus. Now, most antivirus, and particularly the threats that are thrown against them, are specifically crafted to get around antivirus. There are various websites where you can throw an antivirus at it, and a virus at it, and that antivirus wouldn't even see it. So they're designed specifically to get around antivirus. Now, this is where the new generation antivirus products come into play, and TRAPS is one of these particular tools. And it is best in breed, in our opinion. We have tried various others, and we've come to the conclusion that TRAPS is a very, very useful product and a very effective product in that it has two elements. One is an anti-exploit tool, and one is an anti-malware. Now, your anti-exploit is a methodology of which any flaws in applications such as Acrobat or Internet Explorer or Chrome, any of these flaws that could potentially be taken advantage of by various methodologies, ropes, buffer overflows. These are methods by which we can inject a threat just by a received PDF through an email, and this is a very common method. It takes advantage of Acrobat, which then downloads malware, which then provides a bridgehead for any hacker to perform actions. Now, TRAPS also has an anti-malware element. Now, this anti-malware is a live system, so there's a connection permanently to Wildfire, which is a verdict system. And the idea is that if an application is started, a verdict is brought. Is it benign, i.e. an application, or is it seen as malware? Now, that benign application is allowed to run quite happily and do what it would normally do. However, anything that's marked as malware will be blocked. Now, the key to TRAPS is that it also has an element where it says, well, what about unknown files? We need to have a verdict. Now, unknown files could potentially be blocked or static analysis applied when launched and detonated, and that application is then sent up to Wildfire for an extra verdict. So that verdict, again, malware benign, is fired up in a VM, and that VM is then run, and the core examples of malware would be change to, say, the Internet Explorer phishing filter, renaming of files, renaming of system files. These are very common tasks for a particular piece of malware to do. And that's actually detonated in a VM and a result brought back. Now, that result then says that application will never ever run. So if one computer within your organization sees it, uploads it to Wildfire, Wildfire then comes back with a verdict. None of the other computers will ever run it ever again. That verdict is also shared with the Wildfire community. So as other people see threats, they're uploaded, they're detonated, they're examined, and a threat list is built up. Now, that threat list looks a little bit like this, where you've got a Wildfire analysis. So in this hotkey RTK application actually is seen as a benign application, is allowed to run. So is data loader and HKeyTray. But what this application here is actually seen as malware, and that's been identified by Wildfire. And there is also a local analysis, which is a static analysis which applies a mathematical algorithm to the local workstation, to the local application, and if it looks like a threat, it is in fact blocked. Now, the infrastructure that supports it looks like this, where you have your clients communicating with your local server, getting the verdicts from Wildfire, detonating them, and getting that information back. So it really is a real-time analysis tool. It's a real-time verdict tool shared amongst everyone within the Wildfire community, and is a very, very powerful system. Now, the next stage of this particular video is in fact a detonation of known and unknown malware within protected or unprotected applications. Now what we have here are two workstations, which are, one's running a TRAPS agent, which is connected to the ESM, which provides all of the verdicts. And we also have a client with no protection on it whatsoever. Now there are two sets of threats we're going to throw against these workstations. One is a known threat and some are unknown threats, and we're going to throw them against both individual workstations. Now, I have no idea what these unknown threats are going to do. I can only imagine they are fairly aggressive and will cause my workstation to virtual machine to break. So what I'm going to do initially is throw a known threat at the unprotected workstation. Now what this will do is, it's a standard crypto locker which encrypts files and provides a link via Internet Explorer to the place where you send your bitcoins. And this was actually seen on one of our clients fairly recently, and is actually quite common out there in the wild. And as you can see here, it's actually going off crypto lockering, and it's actually renaming and encrypting files left, right, and center. So as you can see, it's changing the extensions to ENC on the end. Now I'm actually going to revert this workstation and go back to an unencrypted state. Now, as you can probably agree, we don't want this to happen. So this is where TRAPS comes in, because TRAPS knows about these threats from Wildfire, but anything unknown will actually be analysed inside Wildfire. Now I'm going to start here. I'm just going to do exactly what I did before, and this has said Wildfire detected it, it knew about it, and if we look at the console, it already knew that it had verdict of malware. So this application has a unique hash, it's been analysed, and it's brought back a verdict. Now, the fun part of this is, what about unknown malware? Now, I haven't thrown any malware from this particular site recently. There is a site, if you wanted to test your own, called testmyav.com, where they have real malware. There are various other sites where malware is available for detonation, but you do need to be very careful with it. And these are application malware that I haven't seen, so I have no idea what's going to happen. TRAPS is potentially never seen, but again, they could have already been launched elsewhere, in which case we're benefiting from the Wildfire community. So what I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to launch the first in list. So let's run it from within the archive. Now this is launching against TRAPS, and it's actually said, hold on, I've detected that as locally detected malware. Now, the odds are Wildfire has never seen this before. So if I go to first seen, and it's gone as local analysis, it will be sitting in unknown state just now because Wildfire doesn't know about it. It will currently be uploading it, analysing it, detonating it, and will come back with a verdict that everyone else will see. So if we keep going on, we can jump it again. Off we go. There we go. Again, locally detected malware. Now, I can do this all day long and it will keep detecting it. The general rule is, if you have local analysis in place, it's about 95% effective, but Wildfire is 99.8. Now, that compares very favourably to the 40%, give or take, of a traditional antivirus. Now, I can do that all day long. These are particular tools that threats that Wildfire has never seen before. And again, if I just do a quick refresh, as you can see, we've got upload status, and it's uploaded, it's coming back, and it's come back as a verdict of malware. So this actually is quite an interesting set of tools, and it is something that you can do all day long and it will never get through. So it's a far better solution. Now, if I go straight to the workstation, I have no doubt that these particular tools, it's the same tool again. If we launch that again, I have no idea what it's going to do. Currently my disk is running really quite busily. I imagine it's going to be a an encryption system of some sort, or a particular remote control tool, and we could keep going down, clicking it, running it. So extract that, let it run. Run each one as we go. As you can see there, so you've got additional files being created. I'm just randomly clicking them, just letting them run. I don't know what they're going to do, and I imagine they're going to do something very interesting, but these could be potentially command and control tools. And as you can see, it's now frozen, completely dead. But, so I'm actually going to, as you can see, it's completely off. So the traps client has blocked every single one of those. If we go down, I'll just extract them, and we'll just do the same thing. And again, traps has got it. See, we've got now locally detected. And again, it's a flash, and again, and again, and again. So it is very, very effective, and these are all completely unknown threats. They're locally detected, so this is the static analysis. There's no wildfire element. The wildfire element will still come into play because this particular threat is going to be uploaded and analysed. Now, you can turn off the static analysis, which is local, but we can also, in which case, anything unknown to wildfire and also to your local server will actually be completely blocked. So you have a very, very good, very hardened standpoint. I certainly hope this has been interesting, and if you have any questions, please feel free to contact me on YouTube, on our channel, or perhaps at the office.